morning there, everyone there. All right. Good morning. So, from your experience working with this last project there, okay, what basically that you can actually talk about this last project that we have, Team Burton, kind of what we call the concept, environment, styles there. Is it hard for you to develop those kind of ideas?
Yes.
Why? Because there's no enough information that I give you guys,
Uh, I'm
or
not sure how the final outcome should be.
okay.
Should it be like the art style of what Tim Burton did, or can I implement a twist for my art style, or yeah.
Actually, right, okay, from the from the objective of this, what we call the task that I actually tried to give you guys, okay, as I told you guys before, okay, I just want to take a look whether you guys can develop some of either the different ideas from the thing that we have done before there, okay. So I just want to bring out a bit more on your creative kind of what we call that process that you guys can present and to develop, okay, along the way, okay, because I don't want you guys just to copy from exactly from Tim Burton kind of ideas there, right? Okay. So because if I want you guys to copy based from Tim Burton ideas, okay, straight away 100%, right? Okay. Uh, it might can be I just give you guys those pictures and trace them back there, right? Okay. So as easy as that, just try to copy, okay? Because there is no kind of creative process that we can actually see from that kind of development that you guys can actually push yourself from there, right? I know it's quite hard, okay? I'm not saying the things that we always do in our life is going to be easy there, right, okay? Because some of the development process that people always done there, okay? It takes a month there to work, maybe 2, 3 months there, okay? What actually I've actually experienced in the early days when I around 2002, 2003 there, okay, when I actually have jumped back again to productions directly to develop one of the content that we call Kursani there, right, okay? Even though the output I think is quite lousy for me, right, okay? But it takes a few months to complete those kind of concept because why? Because when we get the ideas, because when we actually develop those kind of understanding directly on the project itself, okay, nothing actually have have a confirm as a very solid kind of objective from my boss there, okay, for from the project owners itself, okay. So I have to do more research, okay, along the way to work with it. Okay, I'm going to give you guys some examples there. The output for me is not that good. I really hate this kind of what we call that my kind of ideas that actually came out, okay, from this design there, okay. But this is a 2001 on 2 kind of what we call that uh, ideas that we try to approach here. Where is it there, right? Let me check there. It's a 3D kind of pilot animations that we have done. Where is it there, right? Okay, I don't know what do I have here right now. But yeah, this one there, right? Okay. This is I think around 2001 and yeah, 2001. Okay, this is one of the earliest kind of funded project that we have from the government, from my old companies there. All right. So we actually spent around more than around 6 months to complete all the concept first, not animations there, but the concept illustrations, okay, design there, right? Okay, for these ideas there, right? So we have around only 2 artists, okay, that actually work with these ideas here, right? I know the quality is not that good, okay, because an old kind of what we call that video kind of encoders that we have there. but I have to spend, right? We have to spend with two people, so right, actually in charge. I actually have one staff actually, right, work close to me, right, okay, for the whole ideas, for the whole concept that we have to go through with the 3D animation guide, there, right, okay. We spent 6 months there to work with it. For the first 2 months, actually, when actually we arrive, right, the ideas, the story is not that firm yet, okay. So I have to gather and discuss with one of my friends, right? When I was basically that time, I'm not married yet, there, okay. So I have to discuss with my friends, a clique of my friends, okay, uh, from 12 midnight until 6 o'clock in the morning. There, okay, we discuss the whole ideas, get all the structures back again, and then I present those ideas, okay, to my team, the right team. So when I actually have compiled all the ideas together, all the questions, all the Q&A kind of session that we have, right, with the team itself, there, okay. So we managed to have one story structures that can be used and it develops, right, okay, more than 13 episodes, okay. This is only a pilot project, okay. The project is not succeed there, okay, because of the financial kind of conditions there, right, okay. So, but of course, Raiki, the idea is the thing that I want to share with you guys is, Raiki, I know it's not that easy there, okay, to develop those one ideas there, right, okay. Even though you were quite genius there, okay, for something there, okay, there still has a lot of obstacles along the way there, okay. So that's why when you talk about animation projects there, okay, or any kind of games project, okay, there's no such thing, okay, for the high end kind of developments there, okay, not a simple kind of not Angry Birds, Flappy Bird kind of games there, right? Okay, we talk about like Angry Bird, even though like Angry Bird, okay, they take the whole years to develop the first Angry Bird kind of games there. Same goes to any kind of creative kind of development projects there. If you look at all this kind of design and 3D, okay, I think it's very outdated there, okay, because it's the early days of 3D animations in Malaysia there, right? Okay, these are early days there, okay. So I have a lot of argument, a lot of what we call that things happens in the productions, okay, with the supervisors there. We work because we want to get the right kind of ideas to work to with the project itself there, okay. So those are a good experience for me there, okay. So even though by the end of uh, the final kind of presentation, I really hate the design there, right? Okay, because a lot of blood and sweat that we actually spent 6 months to develop the characters, the main characters, right? Okay, I really love the ideas that we actually been go through with the earliest kind of design there, right? Okay, because it's more practical there. My kind of visions that I had for the early design of this visual is actually at that chance, I want to render 3D kind of characters into 2D kind of versions directly. So 3D into 2D kind of looks and feels there because it's really practical, easy to render. Right? Okay, we don't have in because some of the scenes right now that you saw there, right? Okay, we spend around 6 months to render there, right? Okay, especially these scenes there, right? These things we spend around, sorry, that around 2 months there to render this scene. Okay, so you can see, right, okay, how hard, how actually, right, okay, detail and how actually restriction that we have there, right, okay, at that time that because of the machines, because of render farm that we don't have that, right, okay, to work with these projects there. Right, a lot of layers there, right, conversations that we have to take care of, right, okay, my editors at the times, especially one of my good friends here, but right now he actually have jumped into different kind of careers there. He actually become a beer tester, right? So he actually doesn't want to do any projects, any creative projects anymore there because I think because of the frustration of the industry at that time there, right? But not now, but this time again, that time there, okay. But we have to render layer by layer in After Effects there, right? Okay, all these kind of things happens, right? Okay, along the way, but it's all worth it for me. Even though it's not succeed, that doesn't mean it's not worth it, right? Because is a very valuable kind of experience that we have, right? From 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 the things that we actually faced before there, right? Okay, so those are the things for me. It's quite worth it there. So that's why whatever that you guys have been working on, right? Okay, even it's quite hard, even though you don't know, okay, whether it's right or wrong, is it right? I don't want to give a lot of very critical kind of comment there because I just want you guys to explore, all right? Explore, right? What we call that as the best that you can to bring out your kind of ideas and skills, all right? Okay, right? To push a little bit more from there, right? Okay, the sort of thing that I want to see from you guys because the point is right now, right? Okay, because the learning process is not going to be stopped until week 14, right? If you actually just doing your jobs or your assignments or you just at the serve your life as to create those assignments only, right, okay, in your lifetime, right, okay, in your student life, they're not going to be worth it at all. Because why? Because for me, if you just only work for money or work for assignments and then when you have your free times later on, right, okay, when we have what we call that our own kind of what we call that times in during the semester breaks, you didn't do or draw anything there, or you don't create your own personal work there, right, okay, I would say your life not going to be, you're not actually develop more on your understanding and skills there, right, okay, because whatever that we go through right now, okay, you have to keep on playing and work on that. This is all about games there, okay? Playing back again the games there together, there, okay? So whatever that you guys do there, okay? Even though it's not that quite fine there, but at least you have actually pushed a little bit more and more on yourself there, right? Okay? Those are the things that I want to see from you guys. All right. As I told you, right, if you want to create a bit more details on your presentations, go ahead. Right. But this is one of the good kind of examples so that we actually can see from your kind of understanding there, okay, to develop your kind of styles of working there, right? Okay, let's just say we see, right, okay, how actually Ino's doing there, right? Okay, I actually have downloaded that before, right? All right, this is Ino's kind of works there, all right? So if you not actually explore a little bit on your ideas from here, right, you may never know, okay, how actually going to be do the right thing. And of course, most of the presentation is look like it's a half cooked there, right? Okay? It's not actually complete yet. Right? You didn't actually explore a bit on the color combination, on the grayscale kind of tone there, right? Okay. So I know that you actually doesn't know whether I noticed that, okay, you don't know, okay, whether it's going to be complete or not with this kind of style there, right? You're not actually really sure how it works there. So what I can really suggest, if you really want to work on that, wait up there, right? We can actually try to complete by working back again and try to refine those ideas from there. For example, like, okay, dash there right a bit there. Let's just say that he wants to work with the ideas, okay, from those. I saw that I think you Wuna there, okay, using this kind of what we call that local kind of traditional kind of structures there, okay, for the works, okay, for this Tim Burton kind of ideas there. But I did give you guys also examples, okay, based on my kind of understanding on designing those works before. Yeah, let me give you guys some examples here, right? So if you look at my kind of what we call that, not based on Tim Burton, okay, but one of the comics that I actually have done before. All right, where is it? Okay, there. This one here. Okay. This is like a Monster Inc. kind of concept, okay, but take a look at these kind of buildings. Right, I'm using that kind of a little bit more like a monsters, like a Tim Burton kind of ideas there, right? Okay, based on the element of flowers there, right? Okay. So those are the things you guys can explore along the way, right? Okay. You guys have to take a little bit kind of lead, right? Okay, to explore a little bit and suggest to me, right? Okay, how or where actually you can go from here, right? Okay. So for example, here right now, let's just say, right, I want to present it more clear, okay, of the ideas itself, right? So what I can do, if we go back into there, I'm going to do a little bit like explore a little bit the ideas, right, of the shapes of the roof over here, there, right? And I'm going to mix my kind of color combinations as usual, there, right? Okay. If we're going to take a look at Tim Burton, basically kind of color combinations, where is it? All right. What a color combination that we have at the grayscale thing. Right. Also with the grayscale there, right? Yeah. The drawings kind of looks and feels there. Right. So what I can do right now, I can paint it up like that. The next thing I can do there, okay, I can actually write use the outline that works as usual. Just to add a little bit more on the details there. I want to see how well you actually can apply some of the details on the works, and also to apply different kind of designs there, okay, that actually makes the portray the look and the feel just like a Tim Burton kind of style there. What I can do right now, okay, I don't know whether you guys still have a lot of problem using those lasso that you work with this kind of ideas to paint your works there, right? Anyone have the same issues here? Still cannot get how actually I'm using those lassos as to works. I think lassos is one of the strong kind of features that I actually have explored, okay, during the process of my kind of curious there, right? To work with the environment style concept, right? Okay? Because I know that okay, some people love to paint, right, directly on the works there, okay, on the drawings there, okay. Uh, those are one of the good things that I find from some of the people that work. But for me, right, this is what I actually experienced. I have in mind basically how actually I'm going to paint those kind of buildings, right? Okay, using the gloomy kind of looks and feels there, right? It's not necessarily only using the same colors all the time there, right? Okay, so right now, what I can do, right, using this brush back again, take away paint there, right? Draw the line there. Okay? If you actually practice this kind of methods, right? Okay, combine some of the elements, okay, when you paint it up there, right? Right here, I'm going to draw those, right? Using lasso, there, okay, alternate, backspace, right? This one I can actually paint. Using a brush over here. So right now the light came from here directly. So if you take a look, obviously from my paint, kind of what we call that styles there, right? Okay. So that means I'm going to click back again. That's why the opacity here is different there. Yes. So I wonder why basically, right? Okay, suddenly those. What I can do, creates more, a little bit more kind of details like here directly. I can paint back again. Add a little bit kind of details there. Can you see directly how it works? So I just now a straight paint okay on the top of it. It's okay. No worries there. So if you have this kind of flexibilities on you, because during the process of drawings that I have right now, okay, during the process of painting here, okay, I'm actually trying to connected my ideas during the process of painting to improvise from my sketches there. I don't know whether you guys experienced these methods before directly, because if you take a look at my kind of sketches, is very rough there, okay? More rougher than you guys, but I have the basics kind of structures that I can use to develop when I actually paint them back there, okay? So I actually connected, try to digest, try to combine some of the ideas that I have in my mind during the process of painting back again there, okay? And work with the design itself there, right? But those are the things I actually try to work right now and try to mix them up together directly with different kind of colors, materials there that I can have there. And of course, from these methods directly, always what we call that play with layers there, right? Always play with layers there. Play with layers there, right? All the time there, right? So layers are going to give us a little bit kind of way to control a bit on our styles of working there, right? So it's going to save a little bit more on our time there. So I can mix them up also there if I want to. I don't care about whether we have to use dark colors for the outlines, okay, to show the wood kind of what we call the textures. We can use light colors there. Because sometimes in productions basically, okay, when we can actually suggest the production themes, okay, we can mix them up, okay, using the paint style that we use there, okay. Normally, okay, if you have a very good kind of creative or art directors with you there, okay, normally they will change their mind and try to go with your kind of suggestions, like okay, let's just say for normal kind of understanding there, right? We always think that, oh, everything has to do paint like this and like that, okay? We have to follow exactly as the normal kind of routine of way of painting there, okay? But if we can suggest a few kind of way of paintings, those ideas or those designs, okay, maybe the final outcome, they're going to paint exactly like this. Like you see, if you want to create some models there, okay, they're going to create some models or miniatures model for the productions, animations, like stop motions, right? Projects, okay? When they actually design the models, they're going to paint exactly as what the concept artist is going to be suggest there, okay, in their concept design there, okay? So there's a possibility that we can actually give them some of the ideas that works. So that's why it's really important for us to suggest the paint style that can be suitable for the project itself there, right? So that's why the process of working right now is we have to suggest and explore and give us a bit more what we call that ideas to explore a bit on the way of working that we can actually portray later on in the future there, right? We can actually give a little bit kind of ideas for people that we can actually give a kickstart for people to see whether the things that actually we suggest is workable for the project itself. Right? Everything could be possible there. So concept artists normally, even though a lot of people think, oh, concept artists only a workers there, okay? They only work for the ideas from based on the story and the writers. Don't just follow the orders there, right? Break and bend a little bit there, right? Explore and give your creative thought to the project itself there, right? Okay. Don't just follow orders. I'm not saying that you have to abandon or disobey my kind of what we call that. What we call that directions there, right? Okay. I don't ask you guys to be rude there, right? Okay, but we have the privilege to give some suggestions there. The thing that I always do, okay, in the productions, that especially with my directors there, okay, back in the days, I always fight with them, but in a very healthier kind of environments, lah, right? Okay, not actually punch each other there, okay, but I will show them what we can actually do from here. So a good kind of project managers, art directors will see the potential of our ideas there. So we just have to give the best that we can, right? So it doesn't mean, okay, that's why I didn't give you guys specific kind of brief there, because I don't want you guys just follow exactly there, okay? Because I want to see whether you guys have a rebellious kind of minded in terms of creative kind of developments there, right? So because I want you guys to challenge me. Oh, I can do better than this. I can do better than this, okay? I can do better than Mr. Faisal. Those are things I want to see there, right? Because there's no point if I do something that I can do but you guys can't, and if I can do better than you guys but you cannot, okay? Because you cannot challenge me, okay? There's no point for us to learn there. That's why. Because by the end of the day, for me, as the lecturers or the teachers there, okay, as a mentor there, okay, I want my students to do better than me, right? If I can do better, I can show off a little bit more on you guys, okay? But still, you guys actually can improve yourself later on. There's no point, right? Because what basically I get from there, right? Some fame. I don't want to have those kind of things there. I don't care about those fame there, right? Okay. I don't care how much like I can get from the social media there, right? Okay. But I want to respond. I want to have some sharing sessions, okay? I want people can learn, get inspired there, and move, right? Okay, whatever that they have, right, to give the best that they can for themselves. Those are the main objectives here, all right? So if you take a look right now, okay, I'm not actually planning before I met you guys today to work with this kind of ideas there. But what I do is improvise from Enos, from Luna, kind of submissions there. Okay. So those are the things basically I've done right now. Okay, let's just say just now I accidentally doesn't create a layers there, right? There's no way. What I can do, select this one, cut and paste. There you go. Right. Everything can be improvised. Then what I can do, I just refine a little bit some of the things right here. Yeah. And I'm going to move along. Okay, add new layers there, right? Don't forget to save your files there. And last week, I give you guys very rough ideas how to develop from that Malacca kind of building, post office buildings, into the thing that we're going to work with the Tim Burton style. So this week, right, I give a little bit kind of details, right? How actually we can come up with the ideas. What I have in mind right now. So I'm going to improvise this building. Yeah. It's like we have a small houses on top of it. It's not a barnyard, right? It's small houses there. All right. So I'm going to, okay, we're going to work with those. Things right here. Okay. Something that you can think beyond the realities. Okay. You can actually explore right from these ideas. The next thing we can do right now, we can add new layers there. It's the first layer, second layer there, right? I'm using lasso tools. If I want to make a bit more edges kind of looks, I can use this. What do you call that? Polygonal lassos. Yeah. And of course, if I want to make a little bit more curve kind of lines, alternate. There. Some people love to use the span tool to work there. But if you take a look at what I've done there, okay, I really doesn't like to wait a lot, okay, to do one thing there, okay. There's a few things we have to take a little bit kind of time that works there, but most of the times I'm going to try to make some of the works a bit more quicker there, okay, faster there. One of the thing is by using lassos that works. You guys still in there, right? Doesn't fall, is it?
Yes.
All right. So, okay. So how actually I turn over into different kind of way of working with my ideas. If you take a look again, it's not actually quite logic there, but in animated series, who cares there? Especially in Tim Burton kind of design, if you take a look at the first early stage, right, like Nightmare Before Christmas, right, okay? Maybe some of the things look logic there, okay, but they actually play a little bit from realities into more imaginations kind of worlds there, okay? So for me, for early stage, right, okay, don't care about those realities yet, okay? Just give you guys a bit kind of imaginations kind of way of working, because that's why they're good about animations there. For me, the more imaginative way you can actually come up with the ideas is more better there, right? Don't restrict yourself into logic all the time. But of course, if you want to make the presentation look more appeal, we have to play a logic basically in terms of light and shadows lah. A bit only. We just log the areas of light and shadows and we actually spread it out there, right? Okay? Those are the things. But it doesn't have to be the whole thing has to be folded exactly like a normal, natural kind of light all the time there. You have to play a little bit, right? Okay, because you have to control. Okay, right now, if you take a look, obviously the light came from here. So even though logically, from the perspective of the shadows, right? Okay, this area should be a little bit more lighter there, right? For example, like this one. Okay. If you guys still see, sometimes people always have this kind of things happens with them, okay? You want to have a light kind of what we call that shades there from here. So we just do it there, right? Okay? It's okay. Right. But all this kind of painted kind of way is going to be a part of the style that you guys can approach, okay, for your design there, okay? Sorry there, right? Too much over here. There. But there's a few moments also in my kind of way of paintings, I will nastily try to use purples there, right, for my shadows. See? Why? Because I want to make a little bit kind of difference for my presentations. So I add new layers over here. In some shadow paints over there. See? And then I'm going to multiply, or maybe I'm going to use some overlays there, or maybe I'm going to reduce a little bit there, right? All right. To give a bit kind of dirt effects, right, on my kind of what we call that painting kind of style there. This is one of the things that I actually love to explore there, right? Okay? Along the way. So the key point is right now, don't be afraid to explore. All right? Don't be afraid to explore things there, okay? Even though the things that you're going to experiment, just like scientists, right? They're going to be a little bit like not as the thing that you have thing in mind, okay? It's not actually came out the good kind of results there, right? It's okay. Okay? It's okay there, right? Because that's a part of explorations that we have. So we need to take some risk a little bit there, right? Okay, to work with it. So that means right here, let me see, I'm going to use this kind of paint style, this kind of line there, okay, to create some text, this line there, right? In real life, this kind of thing is not logic there. But in animated kind of paint styles, again, it can be realized there. To show a bit more detail, that give a little bit kind of details there. So right now, right here, I can use the same kind of methods if I want to. So basically, okay, frankly, right, okay, speaking to you guys, I really miss these kind of moments there, right, okay. I'm not saying that I'm just doing that only to ease a bit on my time there, okay, but I really miss this kind of moment of productions there. Because today I'm doing something else that more simple kind of look and feel of design, right, okay, or animations kind of works there. Because I try to be a little bit more practical to work with very small teams in the future there, okay, because everything doing online there, okay. So I have to make sure that the content, the product that I'm actually going to produce in the futures are going to be more practical for everyone there. It's not because I can pay less for other people's therapy, but I can actually want to have a bit more kind of what I call productive kind of way of working there, okay, with my team there, okay. So like this one, okay, for example, if I want to make some textures there, right? We can go through back again with things that I've done before, right? I'm get some textures. Where is it? Paper textures there, right? Yeah. And use this one. Copy, right? Piece over here, right? To give a little bit kind of what we call that a more kind of textures kind of feels. All right, and then I'm going to multiply them. There, right? If I want to, right, can reduce a little bit to give a different look and feels that I want there, right? Okay, this is one of the tricks that I always play along the way there, right? Okay, to work with it. So what I can do right now, I can create more details right here for the cornice there, right? Right, paint a bit using, because I want to make a contrast between the first buildings that we have, right? And this one there. Yeah. The next thing here right now, and draw another one there, right? Try to see whether the perspective, or even though we actually play with very skew kind of perspective. Yeah. Right. The next thing is, right, I'm going to draw the horn over here. Right. And there. Play with it there. Right. It looks not that complete, but at least it looks presentable there. The concept. And this one. All right. Add new layers because I want to draw basically to paint it up in the below there, right? Okay, behind the structures a bit. Okay, different styles there. If you take a look at the color choices that I do there, okay, it's quite look randomly that I choose there, right? But it's not. I still basically use based on the family colors of the schemes that we have there, right? Now, I go into that areas, right? Add new layers, start to paint there, right? We can actually use these textures. Scale, don't forget to scale because they will bring a little bit more kind of detailing there, okay, right now. Multiplied. Reduce a little bit. Select them. Use light colors. And paint. For me, though, okay, as a student right now, don't restrict yourself into one style there. If you take a look at these two different kind of exercise that we have done before there, right? There's a two different kind of concept that we actually have worked, okay, together along the way, okay, but try not to use the same style for me, right? Okay, for you guys, okay, as a student, right? Okay, don't limit yourself into the thing that you feel comfortable only, okay, in your presentations there. Try to explore the, okay, this is something that I actually rarely to see from your presentations right now, right? I'm sharing with you guys today because not just to give you guys some demonstrations, but I want you guys to explore this kind of methods there, right? Okay, and to see how far you can go from here. Can you do better than what I've actually produced right now? Right, because you have the privilege, right, of time to work with it, right? Even though you have to juggle with other kind of subjects that I, I really what we call that notice about that, but don't worry, it's there, right? So try to see the shadows over here, there, right? Try to explore a little bit, there, right? Multiply, see the difference there. So I'm going to use erasers. All right, adjust the flow a little bit, and I can paint there, right? Adjust the blender. All right, if you take a look at the way I'm working with this painting there, right, okay? Is it look fancy for you guys? It's too fancy, too complicated for you guys to understand? Hmm? Guys? So here?
Yes.
Yeah. When you take a look, right, okay, the way that I present there, right, okay, those kind of paint kind of styles there. Does it look fancy for you guys to follow there? Is it difficult for you to follow?
I think still okay.
Hmm. Have you guys explored them? I don't see that actually you have explored, right, okay, the technique itself there, right? Split on your presentations there. So for the next kind of presentations, all right, for our project 3 there, right, okay, I want you guys to explore a little bit here. How far you can go from here. Okay. Because they're going to be worth it, right, okay, for you guys to see whether it looks right or not. Okay, you can actually exceed the potential of your works. Okay, to see the difference when you design and approach your works. Okay, because why? If you take a look closely, okay, the way that we actually paint like this, even though the design is not finished yet, not complete yet, right? But looks as detailed as that we want there. We can see all the details that we want from here. Right? We can actually present it well. Yeah. So those are the things that we go different between add the layers there. Yeah. Paint areas of shadows over here. Sometimes just mix them up there, right? Just simply paint like this. Just a little bit. Check back again. Yeah. Oops, it's not this one. Get different textures here. Right, select all, copy, paste. Yeah, a little bit more like rough kind of looks there, right? Multiply. arrange a bit. See the difference there. Can we actually change it to overlay to see, right? Overlay is more better there, right? Just a little bit. They actually mixed up together there. What I can do right now, right? Plan to work with those brush line, outline over here. There. If you take a look at the way that I draw the patterns also, I didn't care much with the perspective, okay, but I try to mix them up directly. We can actually use also these color combinations to the line itself, right? See the difference. Yeah. It's like we wrap up with the strings, right? Okay, with the buildings that it is not there. Next thing is what I did just now with the painting there, right? Okay, yeah. Right, we start to draw the windows there, please. So from my, yeah, I'm using a coffin kind of shapes there, okay, for these areas. So sometimes if I'm lazy enough, I just copy this one, multiply, range there, right? Something like that, but you can see the line over here there, right? What you can do, just delete this area there. So you delete this one. And then we can actually paint right here using what? Purple brush. I'm using 2 brushes only right now. With 2 brushes only there. Not much there, right? Okay. Oh, using multiply just not there, right? Okay. Paint in different kind of layers there. Where is it? Oops. Yeah. You see the mixed up between purple and brownish there, okay? But it still look harmonized there. So those are the things that I can share with you guys here, okay? Using purple, brownish, right? Okay? It doesn't have to be grayscale all the time, okay? The way it look boring for your presentations there. Explore a bit on your color combinations there, okay? I bet the color theory that you have from your understanding of learning the basic principle of color theory, okay? You guys can explore a bit from here, right? Okay? So I didn't actually use any kind of color chart that I actually can give from those. You can see from the Googles there, okay? I rarely use them, right? Some of the designers love to see that I get to work on that. For me, I don't want to restrict myself, okay, to use the color theory, the color chart, or a color chart, right? Okay, codes. So I rarely actually use this kind of methods there, okay? Because why? Because I don't want to have a restrictions. But previously, I actually just take a look at some of the color code that I can find interesting for like this one. Okay, right now I'm using this kind of methods there, okay, this kind of color combination with this one there, right? To get some harmonized monochromatic illusions of color combinations there, right? In my design, in my paintings there, right? But I rarely actually use as a guideline, but I just use as a reference only there, right? A reference only to works. So those are the things I've done in my works there because I don't want to get more restriction there. The same goes to color swatches, right? Okay? Some people love to use the color swatches that it works, right? depending, right? Okay, how actually you're going to explore that. Okay, in the early days, maybe you want to explore this kind of color swatches to okay to your paint there, okay, or maybe you can use those uh, Pantone kind of colors there, right? Okay, to work with it there, okay. But for me, depending there, okay, but you can work both sides if you want to, right? Either you want to have a look to the color code or guide to work with your illustrations, or maybe you can explore. Okay, right now the good thing, right? I just show you guys how actually what basically I have in mind. Okay, how actually I choose those colors there. I can explore a bit more. My kind of suggestion is to explore a bit more. Don't be afraid to make some mistakes there. I made mistakes along the way, the process of working with this illustration. If you take notice directly, you have get notice directly. But I'm okay with it directly because why? Because that's the good thing about development process. Those are the beauty of development process, right? It doesn't have to be everything has to be perfect all the times. But when you complete those work, it looks a little bit perfect, but it's not. Right. Those are the beauty of it, right? It look perfect, okay, maybe to other people there, but for you, you can see some of the what we call that, some of the rooms that you save for yourself when you want to make some improvement back again to your works there. I'm using some of the colors over here, but not too much. All right. Just to give a little bit kind of harmonize there, right? But I don't care that, right? Works here. Work with this kind of paint there, right? Okay, a bit there. So what I can do right now, right? Use dark colors over here. That's the size of the brushes and paint. Yeah. Okay. Right. And then the next thing we can do from here, right? Get the textures back here. Like all, copy, paste, adjust a little bit there. Right. Okay, right here. So the textures basically, right, okay, that kind of shapes or paint, right, okay, or the spot, right, okay, will give a little bit kind of look and feel of the light and shadows there. See, light and shadows there, right? Those are the things there. The beauty of those design there, right? So the next thing is right now, sometimes you can actually use right, the methods right here. Put some shadow shapes there, right? But I can use this one there. Shadow shapes there. You paste, multiply, use erasers, pick the flows, size and paint it. Easy, right? Hmm? These areas, obviously, you can see the depth there, right? Okay, what you can do. What I can do right now, I can actually draw or construct the lines over here to make it a border direct line there. These paste, multiply it if you want, or multiply is not good. You can use this one directly. Overlay this to work. Maybe some highlight is not that right. Screen also quite good directly. What I can do from here, I can use alternate to cut these areas. Copy and paste. Okay. This now, right? This one, oh, this another one. All right, this one. Copy and paste. Put right here. Check back again. Create this part that first. What are mistakes that we have here? Because from these methods there, okay, normally I will separate or flatten some of the layers okay, to make it more easy for us to arrange there. It's okay. Not that actually right. Big issues here right now. Right. But you can see some separations that we have right here, there, right? So what we can do here, check the layers there, right? I want to erase this part there, right? This part right here, because obviously you can see the things is work. Yeah. This one there. So what I can do right now, in over here. Yeah. Okay, then first, let me check I can get that pin there. Yeah. Okay. So you can actually do some arrangement from there. Right? This is like a pipeline or whatever it is, right? You want to work. So that means from here, either you can actually draw a little bit kind of pipeline over here if you want to. It's like a host of the what we call that kitchens there, right? A lot of things can be done directly. It can be improvised from your copy paste, right? Put it on top of it, of the layers there. Yeah, save there, right? So right now, if you take a look there, right, okay, we have basically some not complete kind of design there, but it's look presentable, right, for our work there. So I can actually combine them together there. And of course, for the presentations here, I need to change a little bit the canvas directly size there. This one going to be around 20, these are going to be, sorry, direct. 15 and 20 direct. Change that. So we use the combinations of traditional kind of elements, okay, from this design. And we actually can combine with the Tim Burton kind of styles of buildings or approach there right from there. So the next thing is we paint it up. Okay. Try to complete a bit more there, right? Okay. What you can actually do, okay, from these areas there, okay, from the floor plan there, right? Okay, what we can do, some of the iconic kind of what we call that trees. Right. Okay, we actually can paint it, right? Okay, to works. So it's part of it there. So tree paint there. Oops, too much. So what I can do right here, okay, lasso tools, right? Again, I'm going to construct the shapes of the tree there, right? Copy and paste, multiply, right? Those are the things there, right? So these areas, at the moment, I can actually draw some shadows line over here. Oops, alternate shadows line over here, shadow shapes. All right. Either I can actually paint it up. Yeah. Right. That's it there, okay? This is some of the things that, okay, even though it doesn't look refined there, okay? If you take a look back again on the most of the presentation that you do there, okay? This one looks a little bit more details there, okay? Okay, the point is right now, I want to see how far you can go from there. All right, if you actually want to resubmit those works, go ahead there, okay? Because I want to have at least one ideas there. One illustrations from all the thumbnails, okay, the visualize that you have done already. I want to say at least one illustrations that can present it well using some of the details that I actually show you guys today, okay, how it works there, right? How it basically works there, right? You can actually design a bit on the landscape, for example, there, right? Okay. The cloud itself, there, right? Okay. If you should look here right now, normally from the Tim Burton kind of what we call that, how to paint, they have a gloomy kind of skies there, right? Okay, approach there, right? So where I want to draw the skies over here. Like this one there, example there, right? So what I can do right now is I can use soft brushes or wet sponge brushes there to work. The size a bit, paint, yeah. So the sky itself, basically right there, the cloud itself, I can actually adjust a little bit there, make it more softer looks, okay. Yeah, combine them, right? Okay, what I can do from here, I can actually adjust a little bit the shadows there, okay. The shadows can be fall off over here. right? Cloud also have a shadows there. Right, what I can do right now is I can use same layers, or I can add another layers there, right? Just to add some shadows there for the clouds. Okay, those are the things already. So the shadows of the clouds also, right? If you think it's too heavy there, right? Okay, blur, Gaussian blur, make it soft kind of line there, right? Okay, this one here, right? Okay, check back in blur, Gaussian blur effects there, right? And of course, from here also, I can actually, right, use erasers, soft brushes to blend it up. A lot of way to draw those clouds there. Okay, this is one of not the only way there. Okay, I can also use these methods of working for the clouds if I want to, or make it more soft, kind of our what we call a solid kind of looks also can be done there. Okay, or I can actually use blur effect back again to give more depth of fields there, right, of the clouds there. Right. From here also I can actually write make a soft kind of edges there using soft brushes. That's the way. Soft kind of look there. Okay. Either we can use also soft brushes to paint the shapes of the clouds there, okay, depending on how it actually works there. So I just give you guys an example that how it works from here. All right, guys. Any questions so far? Any questions there so far?
Sir,
Hmm?
and so we can use any color.
Yes, any colors that you want there, okay. But
So
if you took a look at Tim Burton, okay, they have a certain kind of monochromatic kind of colors that they use there, okay, they combine together, right, okay, between the color kind of schemes there. It's not actually rarely we can see the richness of multiple kind of colors, okay, when it comes to Tim Burton kind of what we call that concept illustration styles there. But you can actually use some combination of purple, brownish, right? Mix them up, right, okay, to make more harmonized kind of look and feel for your environments there, right? Okay. So those are the things that we can explore from here. So it doesn't mean that you have to draw or use a wide of color range that you want there, right? Okay? But if I want to give you guys a bit more on suggestions here, for example, all right, I'm using basically the base colors from all right. What is that? What are sound is that? All right, brown a bit. All right, dark gray a little bit there. All right, mix them up together there, right? Okay, with light colors there. All right, um, some maroon, some thick in there, right? Okay. So this is some of the color combinations that I actually played, okay, to get the harmonize of the looks and feels from these illustrations. What sound is that there?
I think it might be the interruption from the
Oh,
VPN she's using.
yeah. I thought actually someone doing some constructions there. Try to mix some of the cement there, right? All right. Okay. You see there, right? Okay, the color combination that I choose here, okay? Even though it doesn't look like as vibrant as the one that actually have done for the Monster Ink kind of design there, right? Okay. But it still have a mixture with a lot of very good kind of combinations, okay, between the monochromatic kind of grayscale colors with other colors together, right, to bring a bit more kind of balance there, okay, with those kind of the whole presentation of those paint styles that we can actually use there. Right. When I actually try to explore the methods of working with my styles of illustrations there, right, I take a lot of time there, right, okay, to explore, to work with it, right, do a few more research from there. But I'm glad I can share with you guys today there, right, okay, most of the session that we have there, right, okay, to show a little bit how actually I'm get this kind of idea in my mind that to work there, right? But of course, okay, I know that you guys also have a certain kind of style that you guys feel comfortable to work with, all right? But it's not actually such a waste if you can explore a bit more from there, right? So don't feel too comfortable at the moments right now, right? Because you guys still young there, okay? Still a lot of things you can learn from there. I'm also want to learn about more from what I can do from here, there, okay? So that's why try to push a little bit, all right? Okay? Some of the things I saw from Nasrin kind of presentations, all right? Maybe some of you guys, right? Okay, like Catherine there, right? Okay, uh, or Joanna there, right? Okay, because you guys have the ideas there, but when you present it your work, sometimes it doesn't show a bit more kind of details there. So today or before this also, right? Okay, I already show you guys how it works there, okay? My kind of way of working basically for environments, we don't actually emphasize a bit more on detail when it comes to first we give the rough ideas, okay? When we present it later on, okay, for example like this one there, okay, we can see that all the simple kind of shape that we actually try to combine together, they will come into detail when you combine between lines, elements, shapes, textures, color and form, and add those value and space together, okay? All these things I think we played around with the element and principle of design there, right? We combine all those kind of element and principle of design together to present our works well there, right? Okay? So those are the things that I want you guys to explore there. Play a little bit on the textures, right? Okay, using the paper textures to help to gain a little bit kind of detailing, so okay, the illusion of detailing there, right? Okay, some people think that okay, everything has to be paint exactly, look realistic, whatever it is, right? Okay, all these kind of realistic kind of things will take more times. Will burn more time for it. So depending how actually where actually direction we want to go in the futures, no matter what direction we want to go in the futures, always have some options there. If you took a look at what I've done right now, I just spent a few, I think, minutes or hours there to work there, okay? Not more than one day that to work with this illustration there. If I want to go on and go on to go on, maybe I'm going to take around 1 or 2 hours there without having a lot of, okay, because right now I mixed up with explanation, talk a little bit directly during the process of working. So if I focus a bit more on my works directly, I will take around 1 or 2 hours maybe, not more than 3 hours to complete the whole illustration there. Right, back and forth, we can do other things that you work there, right? Okay. So learn also to speed up a little bit more on your chance when you present your works on your works there. Even though it doesn't look finished, there's still a room for you to change or to improve, okay, especially to your clients later on there, okay. But when you present it, they present it well. People can see some unique kind of element that they can use when you present the works itself, right? When you present your works there, always find some uniqueness on your paint style, not only the overall design that you show there, okay, just like somebody else there, the uniqueness that you can actually show with your paint style that people will get attracted with it there, right? Okay, that's why these three kind of what we call that challenge that we have around Monster Inc. kind of design, Tim Burton, and later on Takashi Murakami, right? It will give you guys a bit kind of kickstart to think differently when you design your work there. Hopefully, that right? Okay. Hopefully, you can digest from there, right? Okay. So, for our third project of final assignments there, right? Okay, we can start next week. Okay, but you guys can do some little bit of research. All right. Okay. The thing that I want to show today, okay, for Murakami kind of what we call that concept kind of final evaluations or designs, we are going to design at least the styles of illustrations or illustration going to be like a picture book illustrations there, right? Like a picture book illustrations there, right? That means the presentation of the works are going to be look a little bit more like this, but without any text there, okay? So Takashi Murakami has a very good kind of understanding working with those kind of characters. Okay, I did give you guys also the main character that you have to use for this picture book illustrations there. It more emphasized more on environments rather than characters there, right? Okay? But you can also redraw back again characters according to the story itself because the characters are going to drive the story there. You have to think only 6 panels to define the daily routine for that character there. Any kind of daily routine that you can actually show or portray from your story, because I want to develop a bit more on your storytelling kind of what we call that knowledge there, right? Or understanding though, right? Okay, to work with those design itself there, okay? Because it's really important also to create your own kind of storytelling, okay, to visualize your ideas there. Because without that, you will find yourself always restrict to other people's kind of ideas there. People give you ideas that you can work, okay? Okay, you can actually think of yourself, maybe there, okay? This is only my assumptions, okay, for the students there. So that means from these last final assignments or project there, right, okay? We give you guys some examples, some of the ideas that you guys can start with. For example, we use these Kai and Kiki kind of characters there from Takashi Murakami kind of design. So we're going to design a daily routine of these two characters in 6 panels there. You can start with the exteriors of their maybe kind of what we call that small houses there, right? With a very beautiful garden there maybe. And then you can actually focus on the interiors there, right? Okay, we haven't designed interiors before. So I just want to give you guys some example. You can actually do some a little bit kind of research a bit, right? What kind of interior design that actually, right? Or what kind of design that's suitable for these characters there. All right, a very childish kind of looks and feels there, right? Okay, a very skew kind of perspective there, right? Okay, so don't worry about all this kind of rules too much there, okay? But the composition has to be fixed there, right? Okay, so so what you can see from here, okay, this is one example, not from Murakami kind of design there, but is actually look towards into that kind of design there. All right. So this is some of the books that I actually create, okay, for past few years there, right, okay. It's experimental books between characters and also the way that children can read those kind of books there, okay. I'm using the flow, balance, and the elements that apply from here there, okay. So this is story about the struggle of the one characters there, all right, okay, to get off from the planet that he actually been abandoned there, right, okay. So if you check like the color combinations, right, okay, of these books, basically, right, it has a lot of richness, textures, a very childish kind of elements that combine with some of the abstract kind of images there, right, okay. So I want you guys to explore a little bit there, okay? From Murakami kind of design and illustrations, and to make it one single kind of simple story about these two characters there, all right? So 6 panels only that you work, okay? 6 panel only to work there. So that kind of illustrations has to be came out with a very simple kind of storyboard there, right? Okay, so you can present the thumbnail of storyboard in 6 panels. The size are going to be around 12 by 12 inch. That means it's not actually going to be a landscape or format, a landscape or portrait. They're going to be a square format there, right? Okay, square format there, right? So 12 by 12 inch there, right? It's good for your Instagram there, okay? 12 by 12 there, right? Okay? Or what we call that a square kind of format, right? Okay, so you guys can actually, if you succeed with it, maybe you can actually promote a bit on your picture books based on this Murakami kind of styles there to work there, right? So if you take a look at Murakami kind of design and a bit kind of Monster Inc. kind of design, maybe doesn't have a slight difference there, okay? But there has a few kind of pop culture kind of element there that we call super flat there, right? Okay? From Murakami design and using a lot of outline that you work there. Okay, let me see there. Where it is. So if you take a look at the Murakami kind of design here, okay, he has a very certain kind of style that actually been approached using a lot of variety kind of warm colors that to combine with there, okay, and use a lot of outline, but the outline is very refined there. Either you want to use outline or not, it's okay. Okay, this is the characters there. Okay, this is Mr. Dub, if I'm mistaken there. This is Kai Kai and Kiki, the characters there. Using the outline for the characters. The environments is up to you, right? Either you want to use outline or not, but make sure the line strokes are going to be well refined there. Because why actually use a very refined kind of outline? Because he actually tried to imitate manga, Japanese anime kind of disciplines with his artworks there, okay? Because if you take a look at manga styles, okay, most of the line is very neat, very clean. So even to use those outline for your characters, make sure you can actually construct a very clean kind of line there, okay? If you want to use a stroke line, or you want to combine AI and Photoshop together, it's up to you guys there, right? Okay? So the platforms, okay, the application that you're going to use is up to you guys, okay? You want to use Photoshop straight away, go ahead, right? I'm okay with it. So you can mix them up, okay? Combine with outline or outline, no outline, you can decide, you can actually suggest it. So the storyboard, 6 panel kind of illustrations, and some exploration on the styles is there before you decide to use which one, okay? You can actually show the progress, okay, between week 11, end of week 11, or maybe the beginning of week 12. Okay, we have around 4 weeks to complete that. 4 weeks there, actually, week 40 there, right? So hopefully we don't extend, but I have some contingency kind of plan for you guys, okay? But don't do it last minute, there, right? Do it last minute in week 15. We might going to have a make good of it, all right? Okay? So try not to extend, right? Okay. So make sure you can actually do a little bit kind of progress, experiment, right? Okay, explore a little bit. Research doesn't mean just get enough information from the reference. Research also can be a part of your sketches development. There, when you sketch it out, your ideas is a part also your research. There, right? Okay, you try to construct, develop some of our ideas from there. That right? Okay, to work with it. All right, guys. So, any questions so far? All right, this is the requirement that we want there, right? Okay, for the submissions, 12 by 12 inch, right? Using 200 ppi per resolutions there. Simple storyline which show the daily routine of these two characters there. What they do in the mornings, what he do in the afternoon there, evening, and midnight there, right? Simple as that. All right. So the daily routine you can do, right? Use, okay, the visual itself that can use, okay. For examples, right? The exteriors and the interiors of design there, okay. That you can explore, right? We can explore along the way there, right? Okay, to work with it. Some of the explorations that I actually did, okay, with my works before. All right. For example, for the exteriors, for interior design there, okay, if I can show a bit more, right? Where is it? Mm, let me check that. Right? Where I have right here. Okay, this thing there, right? Okay, this is some of the illustrations that I actually did for one of the design, okay, using some of the materials, okay. Same goes to material like papers, textiles there, right? Combination with some of the organics and also geometric kind of shapes for the intuitive. The perspective, I had playing around with this perspective directly to make a little bit more like fantasy, surreal kind of looks there, right? Okay. Right. I bet, okay, I a little bit naughty back in the days there. I'm using a different kind of what we call that collage, okay, for this kind of backgrounds there. Right. So take a look right on the color combinations there. I play with the very cute kind of geometrics and organic kind of shapes together along the way there, right? Okay. So this is something that you guys basically can explore, right, on your design. The methods are going to be the same. The same method that I actually use for all the paint style that I use for this kind of method, just not okay. But only thing is, right, okay, I'm using for other kind of projects that works there, right? Okay. So any questions there so far, guys?
So,
Yeah.
so our final is the 6 panels, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
Six
then
panel illustration thing.
6 panel illustration. Then
Mhm.
our progress also will be showing as 6 panel
Yes.
illustration.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Right. So that means your thumbnails, your progressions, your suggestions have to be in 6 panels there, right? Okay, 6 panels only there, right? But for the color suggestions or style suggestions, you can at least show at least 2 or 3 there, right? Okay, only there. Let's just say, okay, sir, okay, I have these 3 different style that we can use there, for example, there, okay? So which one basically you find quite suitable, or maybe I can combine these 2 styles together, right? For example, how actually you're going to combine, what kind of visuals there is up to you guys. What kind of style you want to approach is up to you guys there, all right? If I show you, okay, I want to use only specific, this one, right? Basically, the direction is came from Takashi Murakami kind of design work illustrations. You can actually browse and also do a bit research on the way that he actually approached his design there, right? Okay? The color that he used, the element basically that he used, also important there. He used a sunflowers there again for his design there, right? Okay? He used a little bit kind of monsters there, like a mouse, what we call the alternate kind of world of this bad side of the Mickey Mouse there, basically, okay, that he actually tried to give a little bit kind of his artist kind of impressions, right, on his ideas from the Western kind of characters there into his design there, right, okay. This kind of information, this kind of feelings, this kind of way of thinkings of Murakami, you can actually explore and try to express them in your design there, right, okay. Sort of thing we can do. But the main thing, every panels, every 6 panels, you have to include these main characters there, right? How the main character are going to respond, how the main characters are going to react or pose, right? Depending on your stories there. They have a tea together. They they go to bed together maybe, right? They take a showers maybe. They what what we call that, do something in the garden there, right? Okay, gardening, whatever. They're like a very simple routine there, right? Or you want to use a very current situation right now, work online, there, okay, for example, there, okay, what basically do in this kind of situations there, okay, when they work in online in their home there, okay. I think something that actually can define also something that you actually have close in your mind there, okay, that you actually experience there, okay, to bring into your work there. Bring it a bit more on personal kind of situation that you have that use these two characters as a metaphor, right, to portray your, to visualize basically your ideas there. Okay.
So it can be indoor and outdoor also, right?
Yes. The
Okay.
best thing is we have 6 panels, right? You define exteriors and interiors together there, okay? First panel is interiors, exteriors, for example. Maybe the second panels are going to be interiors there. Maybe 4 panels interiors, 2 panels are going to be exteriors there. Up to you. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else there, guys? Okay, for these submissions, I want to see at least one illustrations. If you have done, okay, some of you guys, you have done complete the, okay, with the color combinations, okay. But if you don't, for example, like you, Una, and also some of you guys, okay, you guys can actually choose one of them. Like this, for example, there, add some details, right, put some textures on it, right, okay, add some colors there, right, to give a little bit more presentable kind of looks of the illustration of the presentation there. One only there, okay, one only there. All right.
So the final is just one with color, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. Okay, guys. If you don't have any questions there, right, after this, I'm going to straight away download, okay, upload, okay, these videos in my YouTube there, okay, and I'm going to share the link with you guys, okay. All right, thank you very much there for having me today, right, okay. Take some rest, okay, take some lunch maybe there, okay. After this, yes, that's right.
Is this due by Sunday also then?
This project too.
I mean the color piece
Yes, project two,
for
right. You want to submit today?
no.
No. How about a few
No.
hours there? How about a few hours there? Is it okay?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Why? Don't cry there, right? All right, okay. You guys going to submit, right? At least Friday there, right? Okay, Friday. Friday, I want to see that. Okay. I don't
Okay.
want to wait until Sunday there, right? Okay, because it's too long there. Okay, only one illustration there, right? If you can share with me your progress, it's more better there, okay? Let's just say, right? Okay, you haven't finished yet, right? Okay, sir. How is it, sir? Is it okay? Normally, I didn't actually have a very critical kind of comment, okay, because I don't want to spoil basically your mood there, okay? But if I see bad, I say bad, right? Okay? If I see okay, okay there, right? Okay? That's all there, right? Okay? If you say okay, okay, I'm not complete yet, say, how is it, right? Okay? Is it okay like this one there? It's okay, right? You can continue that to work there. If you I can see, okay, you can add a little bit more details on these areas, the foregrounds, basically, or the ground itself, right? Okay? So I'm going to give that comment, okay? Don't worry there, right? The best thing is right now, you learn what basically you can gain from there, okay? What you guys can learn from there, right? Okay? Those are the things that, right, okay, that actually happen from there. It doesn't mean that, okay, whatever that you do there, okay, everything is going to be fine, right? But you don't learn something from the experience that you actually gain from the process of your learning, or maybe the moment that you actually explore to paint or to design your work there. Learning doesn't mean every time that you have session with me, I can give some of the magic words for you guys and you guys can gain something and learn from there, okay? The process of learning came also when you actually explore on your times to work with your design there. The question you have in mind during the process is a very good kind of way of learning okay, from your experience, right? Okay, all the questions or the inquiries that you have in mind, basically, okay, is it okay like this? Can I go like that? Oh, this doesn't look good. Okay, I can delete, I can move it back again, and do a little bit more research. All these questions you have, and hopefully you have that, okay, because I always have this kind of question in my mind there. So that's what makes the difference between us and anybody else there, okay, that follows only the rules, but you actually lead basically those projects, okay, with for other people there, right? Then you can decide, also give you guys some good suggestions to the team there. If you don't give some suggestions to the teams, you'll make the team drown on the drain there, okay. They're going to be put into trash there, okay. They're going to be, those are the mistakes that I've done before, like a few years back, okay. But even though I raised a little bit on that, but we cannot make a decision there, okay. So the decision that our team or maybe our team member or our decision maker makes until will make the project flush away there, okay. So that's why good things, you raise something that you're not satisfied there, okay, in the right way, to make sure that everything, everyone will feel happy and gain something from there. All right, because don't just follow, okay, I don't care whatever it is, right, okay, as long as I can take the money there, I can get the monks there, okay, I don't care about it, right, okay. If you actually doesn't raise any kind of issues there, okay, in the right way, okay, because our mind, our heart basically always speak truthfully there, okay. If you have a good heart, when you speak some things, it's not because you want to offend someone directly, but because you want to do the best for others too, directly, not for you only there. So those are the best thing about communication, right? You learn also from there, right? If you have worked with team before, don't just follow orders. Try to give some ideas there, even though the ideas doesn't use, okay, as a team, okay. But at least if you think that ideas is good for you, you just do it for yourself there and show back again. This is how actually I do my job there, right? How is it feel? People might not going to praise you at the time there. Yeah, people know that you actually have the brain there to work, right? Okay, guys, thank you very much. Yeah. Friday, submit at least one illustration based on our project 2, right? Final submissions there, right? Okay. And then you guys can continue with Takashi Murakami kind of projects there, right? Okay. Or you're gonna have some ideas along the way from these few days. Okay, you guys can actually buzz me on WhatsApp there, right? Okay. All right, don't forget to submit your progress either in Google Drive or Google Classrooms. Because sometimes, normally, I think you guys experienced it before, right? Sometimes, all right, at the end of the semester, right, okay, there's always have a troubleshooting happens there, okay. Sometimes computer crash, hard disk crash, okay, files to delete, right, okay, whatever it is, right, okay, all these kind of situations have to be prevented earlier there. Do some backup right, on your work there, okay. Please do backup on your work there. The best thing backup, whatever that you do, don't wait. Upload them, right? Okay, in clouds there, okay. Email back again to you, maybe okay, the JPEG files there, and then at least if something happens to your works, okay, in the process, you have the proof that you actually have done before, but you cannot actually change them, okay, because you cannot actually change, but you have done something that okay, that actually have to prove that you have done the works there, right? Okay, because I actually have experienced before. I experienced this semesters about some of the works okay in animations, and advanced animations kind of demos there. Okay, I accidentally delete one of the files. Okay, but luckily I actually record the videos so I can share with the student, but I cannot actually retrieve back the files there. So the things sometimes happens there, okay, because if we actually juggle a lot of things, okay, in our hands there, okay, some of the things we try to control, but we can't, okay, out of our control there sometimes there, depending on the situations or how it actually works there. But don't depending more on the technologies there, but use them wisely, that's good. All right, thank you very much for having me today, guys, okay? So hopefully you guys can gain something from here. And also, Isaac is not with us, right? So this is a message for Isaac, okay?